Hello everyone, welcome to I Learn Digital class. My name is Stevie. I want to use this medium and this opportunity to appreciate those that are already subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm so grateful for taking your time to subscribe on my channel, and I'm grateful as well for the like, for the comments, and some people even take it as far, to share my videos on their social media platforms. I am so grateful for that. So without any further ado, so what are we going to be doing today? So today I'm going to be explaining to us, we are going to learn how you can build text to speech in JavaScript, how you can create text to speech in JavaScript. Now, as you can see on your screen, so this is the project we want to create. So let me just explain how the project works. So here is where you are going to type your speech. So you can type anything here. So and here you can increase the rates. I mean, how you want the voice. Maybe you want it to be faster or you want it to be slower. So you can as well increase the pitch of that voice here. Maybe you want a deep voice, you scroll back, and if you want a very tiny voice, you move this to the front. So here is where you can select you can select the voice you want. So the reason why it's not dropping down is because I've cleared up the JavaScript code. So we just have to go and build from the scratch. So once you'll be able to select the voice you want here, then you click on speak. So it's going to speak any particular text you put here. So guys, without any further ado, so let's get started. So here is our HTML file. So as you can see, we use Bootstrap, for the CSS, for the beautification, to create to add beauty to our code. So here is the HTML file. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to push this particular file to GitHub. So I'm not going to bother myself about the CSS, about the HTML. So what I'm just going to focus on is the JavaScript. I mean, the technical aspect of it. So what I'm going to push this to GitHub. So what you can just do is that I'm going to drop the link in the description below. So what you just have to do is just go to GitHub. You can clone and you can download as zip as well. So then you'll be able to follow this tutorial. So the HTML and everything is going to be on GitHub. So guys, let's get started. So there is we've already linked our JavaScript file with this HTML code right here. So now this is our main.js. So we have to get started. So now what is the first thing we want to do is that now we want to initiate the speech syntax API. I mean the speech synthesis API. So how are we going to do that? So here we're going to have constant syntax like this. Synth is equals to we have windows dot speech. We're gonna say dot speech synthesis dot speech synthesis. So this is the speech API. So what we are just trying to do here is that we are trying to initiate the speech API. So this constant s, I don't know if my pronunciation is correct. Anyway, see this synth here, this could be anything. You can use anything you like here, but this is the speech API that we are trying to initiate. So it must be the same way I put it here, because this is what we initiate our speech. So now what's the next thing we want to do is that we want to get some DOM elements. So let me comment here. So that is the next thing we want to do. So now we want to, let me quickly go into our HTML code here. So what we want to do here is that we want to grab some IDs here in our HTML. So we want to grab some IDs in our HTML. So now the ID we want to grab here, let me show us guys. So the ID we want to grab here is that we need the ID for this text area. This is the text input, we need it. So we also need the ID for rates here as well. We also need ID for pitch. So which other ID we want to grab again? So we want to grab the ID for voice select. So that is the ID we want to grab now. So let's go back into our JavaScript code. So what's the next thing we want to do is that we want to say constant We're gonna say constant. We say text form. Let's say text form is equals to document dot query selector document, okay, dot query selector document dot query selector. So and what is the ID you want to grab? What's the name of okay, what we want to grab here first is the form. Let me show you guys in our HTML code. So this is the form we want to grab here. So this is the elements. Oh, come on. So this is the elements we want to grab. This is the form elements we want to grab here now. So that's what we are trying to do here. Form, that is the name. So now let's continue. So the next thing we want to do again is that I want to say constant test inputs is equals to test input is equals to documents dot query selector. So what is the next ID you want to grab again? The next ID you want to grab is text inputs. That is the name of the ID in our HTML, text inputs. So let's continue. Another one again, we want to grab the voice select, so that we'll be able to select our voice. Voice select is equals to document dot query selector. So what is the name of the ID? The name of the ID is voice select. Good, that's the name of the ID, voice select. So another one we want to grab again is the rates. We have constant rates is equals to, we have documents dot query selector. So what's the name of the ID? The name of the ID is rates. Yeah. So now the next thing again we want to grab is the rate value. Now constant rate value is equals to document dot query selector. Then okay, document dot query selector. Then we want to grab the rate value. Good. So the next one we want to grab again is the pitch. Want to grab the pitch now. Constant pitch is equals to document dot query selector. Then else we use this hash for ID, but when it's class we use dots. So what's the name of the ID? The name of the ID is pitch. So that is the name of the ID. So another one again is that we need to grab the pitch value now. This time around we have pitch value. Then we have documents goes to document dot query selector. Then we have what's the name of the ID? The name of the ID is pitch value. Good. So the last one we need to grab here is we need to grab the body. We need to grab the body now. Constant body, the body of our HTML. So document dot query selector. Then we have body. We don't need to, since it's an element, we don't need to put either dot or hash at the back. So we just put the name of the element directly like this. So this is all what we need to do. So after having gotten the all the ID in our HTML, so the next thing we want to do now is that we want to initiate the voice array. Let's put a comment here. So we want to initiate the voices array. The voices array now. That's the first thing we need to do. So how we're gonna do that? We're gonna say let voices. We're gonna set it to an empty array. So that we are storing every of our voices inside this array here. So that's what we want to do now. So here we have to give we want to define a function here. We're gonna say get voices. So we want to define a function here. So we're gonna use the arrow function to do that. We're gonna use the arrow function to do that. So here we want to get the voice. Now that is what we want to do in this function here. We want to get the voice. So how we're going to do that? Then we're gonna have voices. Don't forget this is where we are getting the voices from. we've already set the voice to an empty array here, so that is where we are getting the voice from. So we're gonna say syntax here. Okay, this is it. I think you know where we are getting this from. Also, we are getting it from here because we've already stored this API inside this particular constant here. So that's what we are trying to do here. So we're gonna say dot get voices. So dot get voices. Then what is the next thing we want to do is that we want to look through the voices now. So we create option for each voice. So we want to look through. That is the next thing we want to do now. So we want to loop. Through. Let's put a comment here. Loop through voices. So we want to look through voices now. How are we going to do that? Then we're gonna say voices here. Dot for each. We're gonna use for each to achieve that. For each voice now. We're gonna say voice for each voice. So for each voice, then gonna have something like this. So we want to create option element now. So that's what we want to do now, so that we'll be able to select any voice. Maybe you want a female voice, or you want a male voice. So that is what we are trying to do here now. So we want to, let me show you. Let's go back into our browser here. So anytime you click anytime you click this drop down here, that will be like I think 2 or 3 options for you to choose. Maybe you want to choose a male voice, or you want to choose a female voice that will interpret that will convert the text you put here to speech. So that is the function we are trying to write here. So we are trying to look through the each of the voice. So that is what we are trying to do. So we want to create we need to create want to create an option here now. Create option elements. So that is the next thing we want to do here. So how we're going to do that, we're going to say constant option is equals to document dot create elements. Document dot create elements. So that is how you can create elements from your JavaScript. If you want to create an HTML element, so this is how you can do it inside your JavaScript code. So what is the name of the element you want to create? The name of the element you want to create is option, so that they'll be able to select any of the voice they want. So now the next thing again is that I want to fill option with the voice and language. So by default, this text to speech is going to dictate the default language your computer is using. Are you guess what I'm saying now? So that is what is going to that is the voice is going to convert that text to. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say now. So that's what we want to do now. So by default, if your computer language, it's set to maybe to French, for example, or it's set to Spanish, for example. So this particular code that we want to write now is going to detect that default language you set your computer to, and we interpret that particular text in that language. I think that is clear enough. So now let's put down a comment here again. Let's say fill option. Let's say fill option with the voice and language. So that's what we want to do here now. So now let's come down here. So this is what we're going to do. That we say option dot text content. Option dot text content. So this is a method in JavaScript. Text content, okay, is equals to voice dot name. Then we're gonna use concatenation here. So we're gonna do something like this. We have this like this here. Okay, so we're gonna say plus voice dot lang. Then we put a plus sign here again. Then we close this here. Okay, so we have this here. Okay, I think we are good to go. So let me check if everything is all right here. So what we're trying to do here is I want to fill the option with the voice and language. Then we have this option dot text content. This is a JavaScript method. It's equals to voice dot name. Okay, so this is the voice name, that is the name of the voice will be here, and the language of the of that particular voice. This is it here. So we are trying to concatenate it here. So now let's proceed now. So the next thing again is that we want to set the needed option attributes. So we want to set the needed option attribute. So how are we going to do that? So let's come here and put a comment here again. Set needed option. Set needed option attributes. Okay. So that's what we want to do here. We're going to say option here dot set attributes. So the attribute we want to set here now is the data lang. So attributes. Okay, so what is the attribute we're going to set? We're going to set the data. Oh, I think I'm missing E here. Attributes. I think my spelling is correct. Set attributes. Okay, it's correct. Okay, then we have data lang here. So we're gonna have these here as well. Voice dot lang. Okay, what we're trying to do here is that now this data lang, let me show you something here. Let me show you something here. Okay, this is it here. So this lang here, you can see this is English here. So you know, if you want to let your HTML or your browser to know that okay, the language you want this website to be is you can change it here. For example, you can have any kind of language here. For example, if I can change this to French here, I can change this to English here. So what we are trying to I'm trying to do here is that, you know, I'm trying to set the option, you know, the option we created the other time. So we are setting the attribute to data lang. That is this is not data lang, it should be data lang. So the data lang here, we are setting it to the voice lang. Are you getting it now? So the data lang here, we are setting it to the voice lang. So the next thing we want to do again is that I want to say option again. I want to set another attribute for data name now. Option dot set attributes. Then we're gonna do something like this to data the name. Then we're gonna have voice dot name. So that's all we needed to do here. So the next thing we want to do now is that we still need to you know, then we're gonna say voice select. So I think you know where we are getting this voice select from. Let me show you, so that it will not just be as if I'm you know, getting this. This is voice select here. So we are getting this voice select that we put here. We are getting it directly from this place because we've stored, you know, we've stored this ID here, this ID in our HTML. We've saved it inside this voice select here. We've stored it inside this voice select here. So we are not trying to get the voice select here and to append a child option to it. To append a child option to it. So that's all we needed to do here in the get voice. So that's all we needed to do here. So the next thing we want to do here is that, so we need to you know, call the get voice, so that it will be able to we need to get the get voices here. So we need to initiate it here. So we need to initiate it here. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to make sure that anytime the voice change, anytime the user selects either of the voices, maybe for example you want a male voice, you want a female voice, once the user select the voice, this options here, this code here should run. I mean the method, all the method we define here should run. That's the next thing we want to do now. By the time the user selects any of the options we provide, so we want this code here to run. So how are we going to do that? So we're gonna say, just put a condition here saying if, you know, we're gonna say if seated dot on voice changed, okay, let me see if this is correct here. If seated dot on voices change, okay, is not equals to undefined. If it's not equals to undefined, then we want this code to run here. We're gonna say seated dot on voice or voices changed. is equals to get voices. So that's what we are trying to do here. So anytime the user selects any of this voice, so this get voice method we write here is going to run. The code is going to run. So I haven't gotten the voice. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to make this voice to speak out. So that is the next function we want to write here now. So we want to write the speak function here. So the speak function. So that's the next thing we want to do. So we're gonna say constant. So we define a function here, constant speak. Constant speak is equals to, then we have our arrow function here as well. So now what is the next thing we want to do again is that we want to check if it's speaking. So for example, if this our text to speech, if it's speaking, we don't want the user to select anything, to select any other voice. That voice must finish speaking before the user inputs another text. Now what I'm trying to say is this, so that you'll be able to understand. Now let's say for example the user inputs a particular text, say maybe hello world, so and click on speak. Are you getting it now? So we want to make sure that this hello world, this hello world finish speaking before the user comes here to input any other text here again. So that is the kind of condition we want to put there, that any particular text input here must finish speaking, so that our code is not going to crash. So that that particular text must finish converting to text. Must finish converting to speech before the user initiates any other text here, so that this will prevent our code from crashing. So how are we going to do that? So now for us to be able to do that, we want to check here. We want to check if it's speaking. Check if speaking. So that is what we want to do here now. We want to check if speaking. So how are we going to do that? So we're gonna say if turns here is dot speaking here. That is if it's speaking. So we want to see console. We're gonna say console dot error already speaking. So that is, we are trying to tell the user that this text to speech is already speaking. So you have to wait till when it's done speaking before you can input any other text. So let's return it here now. So that is all we need to do here. So the next thing we want to do here again is that we want to add animation, like maybe when the text is speaking, maybe a wave animation, or or audio animations to be reflecting at the background. So that is what we want to do here now. So now how we're going to do that, we're going to say if text inputs, I think you know where we are getting this text input from. I'm going to show you now. If text input value is not equals to nothing here, is not equals to nothing, then we want to run this code. So where are we getting this text input from? We are getting the text input from here. Let me show you guys. We are getting it from here. This is where we are getting the text input from. Don't forget, this text input is an ID in our HTML. So, and we've already saved it inside this text input here. So the next, we want to say that if that text input, if it's not equals to nothing, like this, if, let me show you, let's go into our browser. If this particular place, if it's not empty, then we want to make sure that our text to speech works. That's what we want to do now. But if this place is empty, when you click speak, it is not going to work. It's not going to speak. So now let's proceed. So the next thing we want to do is that let's add, as I've said the other time, let's add background animation now. Let's add background animation to it. Background animation. So how we're going to do that, we're going to say body now. We're going to say body.style background. Okay, background is equals to, now what is the background color we want to use for that anytime it's speaking? So let's say the code is 14114. You can use any color of your desire. So what's the background image you want to use for that? So this background image is already here. Let me show you. The background image is already here. This is its wave. That is the image we want to use, wave GIF. So that's what we want to do here now. So let's import it here. We're gonna say image is in our image folder. Then what's the name of the image you want to use? Wave.gif. So that's all we need to do here. So the next thing again we want to do is that let's say body.style, then background repeats, background repeats. So we want to make sure you want to just make it to repeat at X, repeats, come on, repeats X. Okay, so having done that, so the next thing again we want to do again is that we want to give it a background size. So we're going to say body.size, style rather, sorry, style background size is equals to let's set it to 100%, both width and height, 100% width and 100 and then 100% height. Okay, so that's all we need to do here for the animations to work. So now let's get text to speak now. That is the next thing we want to do now. So we've added the animation already. So the next thing we want to do again is that let's add the comments here. So we're gonna say get text. We're gonna get text to speak. So that's the next thing we want to do here. So what are we going to do that? Just need a few more line of code. So we're gonna say constant speak text, constant speak text. Okay, let's do it like this. Constant speak text is equals to new speech sentences utterance. We have to be very careful of our spelling here so that we're not going to run into error. So we're going to say text. So what I'm going to explain in a second now what I'm trying to do here. Value. So what I'm trying to do here is that now I'm trying to as I've said the other time, we want to get our text to speak now. So what I'm doing here is that this speech synthesis utterance is a method here that we are trying to call. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to tell we're trying to tell our code, we are trying to tell our browser that anytime a text is input here and this speak is being called here. Now let me show you something what I don't show you. Let's go into our index.html and let me show you something here. So here is where we are calling this is the speak here now. And don't forget, we've already gotten this form here. So anytime this button here is being clicked, so we are trying to say that it should convert the text we input here. That's what we are trying to say now, to convert the text we input here to speech. So that is what the method we are trying to create here. That is, we say constant speak text equals to new speech synthesis utterance. That is text input does value. That is any value that is input into our text input. So this this will help us to speak that particular text. This will help us to convert that particular text to speech. So that is what we are trying to do here. So now we want to make sure that if and what's the next thing we want to do is we're gonna say speak end now. If the speech is end, what is the next thing we want to make to happen? So we're gonna say speak text dots on end. So we're gonna say dot e, that is an event here. So that is what we want to do now. That once it's finished speaking, so the next thing we want to do is that that is the code we want to write here. So we want to make sure that number one thing is that we want to return the background back to the default stage. So once it's once you click speak, this background there will be an animation at the background, and once it's done speaking, we want to return it back to the default stage. So how we're going to do that, we're going to say body dot style, body dot style dot background, then we return the color back to this. Let me just copy this here, paste it and paste it here. So that is all we need to do here now. So now the next thing we want to do again is that in case if there is an error, so in case if there is an error now, so we're gonna say just have to come down here. We're gonna say speak error. Let's put a comment here. So it's very good to use comments in your code, so that it'll be very easy for any other developer to read your code. So we're gonna say speak dot text dot on error, then gonna say pass this e here like this. Then we have our arrow function. So we want to console log in case there is an error. Console log error. Then gonna say something is wrong. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. So then having done that now, so the next thing we want to do is that, we want to okay, the next thing we want to do is that, the selected voice now, want to loop through the voices now. That is, anytime the user select a voice, then you want to run through, to loop through that particular voice. So now, so that we'll be able to select we'll be able to select the speech rate. We're gonna be able to select the pitch rate. So that is the next thing we want to do now. So how we're going to do that, so you just have to come here as well. We're gonna say that, let's put a comment here, say selected gonna say selected voice. I'm gonna say selected voice. Then we'll come down here, we're gonna say constant selected voice. Constant selected voice is equals to voice voice select dot selected selected options. Then we set the default to 0. Then the arrow in an array start counting from 0. We have 0, 1, 2, 3. So we are selecting it, the default one to be the first voice. So that's what we are trying to do here. So to be the first voice. So now let's continue. Then we say get attributes. Get attributes. Then we say get attributes. Then the data name now. The data name. So that is all we need to do here. So now the next thing again we want to do again, we're gonna say voices. So what we're just trying to do here is that we want to make sure that anytime they select, let me show you, anytime they increase these rates here, and anytime this pitch is increased here, so it should go along with the voice selected. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So it should go along with the voice selected. So we're gonna say for voices for each. Again, we have our voice here again. Then we're gonna say have the arrow function here. Then we're gonna say that if voice dot name is equals to selected. If it's equals to the selected voice, rather, if it's equals to the selected voice, then we're gonna run this function here. We're gonna say speak dot speak text dot voice is equals to voice. Okay, good. So the next thing we want to do now is that, have we done that? So let's close this. So let's come down here again. Let's say set pitch rate now. I want to set pitch rate now. So that's the next thing we want to do now. I want to set the pitch rates. Okay, so now let's do that here. Now we're gonna say speak text. We're gonna say speak text dot rates, then we're gonna say it's equals to rates dot value. That is once you increase here, once you increase this rate here, it's going to match the voice here. Are you getting it now? So it's going to reflect on the voice. So we're going to say rate dot value. Then let's go for the pitch as well. I'm going to say speak let's say speak text dot pitch. Okay, dot pitch is equals to pitch. Okay, let me put this down so that we'll be able to see what I'm doing. Go to pitch now. Okay, pitch dot value. So then we're gonna call so the last thing we want to do here is that, okay, we want to call the speech to the sentence here dot speak text now. Dot speak text. Okay, so now the last thing we want to do now is that we want to the last thing we want to do now is that we want to do some events, listening to some events. So let me put it here, event listeners. Okay, so now why are we doing this? Because we want to make sure that, let's go back to this code. We want to make sure, let me reload this. So okay, we want to make sure that this anytime we click, what's the code now? We want to make sure that this button here, this rate button, this pitch button, and the speak button works. We want to listen to the event of all these things here. So that is what we are trying to do now. So now let's proceed. So now we want to listen to the form submit first. Form submit. Let's define the form submit function here. We're gonna say text form dot add event listener. So let's be very careful with the spelling listener. Okay, so event listener. So what is the event we want to listen to? We want to listen to the submit event. Then we're gonna say event. Then we put an arrow function there. So we want to prevent it from reloading anytime the speak button is clicked. We want to prevent our browser from reloading. We're gonna say e dot prevent defaults. So that's all what we need to do. E dot prevent defaults. So now we have to call our speak this speak function. We need to call it inside this form submit event here. So you're not gonna say speak function. So we need to call it here. So we're gonna say text input dot blur. Okay, so now the next thing again we have to do is that we want to listen to the another event here. That is for rate and pitch. So anytime the value change, we want to listen to some event here change. So how we're going to do that, we're gonna say rate dot add event listener. Then we'll call the change here change. Then we have events here. Then we have a arrow function. Then we're gonna say rate value dot test content. So what would the meaning of this test content? Let me just explain it. Is that what test content does is that it gets the text. For example, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to get the text or the value text here. Are you getting it down? So that's what we are trying to do here now. So that's what test content does. So test content just it works like which example can I give us now in JavaScript? It's just for you to be able to get the text of a particular to get a text of a particular element. For example, now let me show you something. So let's say, for example, I have I just want to give you an example. Let's say I have a paragraph text here, and I say maybe I put something here, hello world. So if I want to get this particular text here, you can use the text content. Are you getting it now? So I think this is a perfect way to explain it. So if you want to get this particular text here now, you know, if it's an input, you can just use dot value. How you get what I'm saying now? If it's an input or if it's a text area, you can use you can use dot value to get the value of an input or text area. But when it comes to you know, when it comes to paragraph, when it comes to h1, h2 elements in HTML, so if you want to get their text, so you use text content. So that is that about that. So let me save. So I just explained this text content here. So now let's proceed. They're gonna say dot discuss rates dot value as rate dot value. So we have to do the same thing again for pitch. So for the sake of time, let me copy this and paste it down here as well. So we just have to change this for pitch to pitch. Just change this to pitch here. So here as well we have to change this to pitch. Okay. So the same thing to here, we have to change this to pitch as well. Good. So now having done that, so the last thing we have to do now to complete our code is that we're gonna you know, change. We want to write this an event anytime the voice change voice select. So come here, we're gonna say voice select dot add event listener. Then anytime it's change, anytime the voice change, we'll say event, then our arrow function, then we'll call the speak function here. So we'll call the speak function here. Okay, I think that's all we need to do with our code. So that is all we need to do. We are done. So let's go and cross check if our code is working. So we have to reload this here. So let me cross check if our code is working. So let me input a text here and just say hello people, or anything. You can just say hello. So okay, I noticed something now. Our drop down is not working. We should have a drop down here of some voice that we can select from. Is not working. So okay, let me just click on speak first. Let me see the error we are going to get. Okay, we'll get an error saying speech sentences utterance is not defined in line 53. Let's go and check it. So but you can see the animation is working, but the voice is not coming out. The voice is not coming out. Okay, let's go to line where is it pointing us to? Line 53. Oh, sorry, this page should be capital letter. Speech here should be capital letter. So let me save. Sorry for that. The S here should be capital letter here. So let's go back into our browser. That error should disappear. That error should disappear. So let's put something there again. Hello world. But I still notice that this. Let's solve this. This drop down is not working. So let's go back to our code and let me see where this error is coming from. Get voice. Okay. So we have this voice select.append child option. So let me see. Oh, okay. I think I know where this error is coming from. I think I know where this get voice shouldn't be called inside. It shouldn't be initiated inside this get voice function. Sorry for that as well. So let's just cut this out. Let's cut this out. Let's close this up. We need to call it outside here. We need to call it outside here. So let's paste this and let's save. So let's go back. It should work correctly now. Let's see. It should work correctly. I think that's an error from my side here. So let me see if the drop down is working. Okay. See, maximum cost tax side exceeded, blah blah blah. Okay, let me reload again. Okay, anyway, we have, I don't know why this error is coming from. Maximum cost tax side exceeded at main JS21. Let me see where that's coming from. Get voice each. Okay, but at least we've gotten, let me clear this out. At least we've gotten our drop down here working. So let me click on the drop down. It's not coming out. What's happening? Okay, guys, let me pause the video now. Figure out. I know we already have a value here, but the drop down is not working. Let me really figure that out. How that is happening. I'll be back. Okay, guys, I think I know where the error is. Let's go back to our code. Sorry, where the error is coming from is this. This shouldn't be here as well. So let's bring it out and save. So let's go back here and to reload. Let's go back here to reload now. So everything should be working fine. Everything should be working fine now. Oh, beautiful. You see, everything is working fine. So sorry for that. It's just an error from me. So I call this get voice inside get voice. You see, which is supposed not to be so. I initiated this get voice inside the get voice. So that is why we are getting that error. So now what you just have to do is that just cut it out and paste it out and remove it from remove it inside this get voice. So as you can see, we have our drop down working. We have Microsoft DB desktop. So depending on the operating system you are using, so I have Microsoft Zara. This is for female voice, for male voice. So let me type the text here. Hello world. So you might not be able to hear the voice because my microphone is not that loud with my computer. So anyway, but if you try that, it's going to work on your computer. So it's going to work. Okay, we have an error here saying speak text is not defined. Let's go and check it out again. Main JS 55. Wow, there are lots of mistakes that happens there. I think that's the it will help us to learn more anyway. So let's check where the error is coming from. Let me go back to look at where the error is coming from. Okay, 55, like 55. Oh, this place should be capital T. Sorry, this should be capital T. It should be capital T. You know, let me save. It should be capital T. So let's go back. I'm very sorry for this. So the error should disappear now. Hello world. Okay, start hello world, and let's click on speak. Good, it's working. It's working perfectly well. The voice is working. As you can see, we are not getting any error here. It's working. If you try that out, it's going to work as well. So you can increase the rate here. You can increase the pitch. You cannot hear the voice, as I've said the other time, because my microphone is not that loud with my computer. So but if you try it out, it's going to work. I mean, it's going to work perfectly well because we are not getting any error here. Everything is working perfectly well. So I'm going to push this code to GitHub so that you'll be able to compare it with your code and the likes. So and if you have any question, if you are getting any error, you can just simply drop your question in the comments box. But I believe you've learned one or two things today. So I know I'm very sorry because of the errors, the mistakes I made in writing my code that time. But I believe that is what programming is all about, to make errors and you'll be able to debug them and make the correction. So that is just it. So please, I believe you've learned one or two things in my tutorial today. Just as a payback, guys, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just like, drop your comments if there's anything you really want me to work on in my tutorial. If there's any things you really want me to upgrade on in my teaching style and system, feel free, just drop your suggestion to the comment box. I will really I'm going to really appreciate that, because we learn every day. So that is just it, we learn every day. So guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this tutorial. So you can go ahead and use this particular what you've learned today in your lifetime day-to-day project. So if you really want to work with convert your text to speech in JavaScript, you can go ahead and use this particular what you've learned today. And I'm going to drop the code, the source code to on GitHub, and drop the link to my in the description box. So guys, thank you so much once again for taking your time to watch this tutorial. So see you in my next video. Thanks so much.